3, 2, 1.
Wow.
Oh my God, that's cold. Welcome back to the You Betcha Radio Podcast. I'm Miles, the You Betcha guy. I'm sitting here with Ryan, the T-shirt guy. We have an amazing podcast coming for you. But before that, this is the coldest podcast in all the Midwest. Mark it down. We're going to do a small town bar part 2 backed by popular demand. And so let's just get into the show. I want to talk to you guys about U Motors, Motorsports and Marine, located in Fargo, North Dakota and Pelican Lake, Minnesota. They have all of the best brands: Honda, Yamaha, Ski-Doo, Can-Am, Sea-Doo, Nautique boats, Super boats, Supreme boats, all of the boats, and even Avalon pontoons. If you mention this ad, you can get 20% off parts and accessories, and obviously some exclusions may apply, but you can get 20% off parts and accessories. You can check them out on Facebook, Instagram, but also at their website, umotorsinc.com. Again, that's umotorsinc.com.
I would venture to say it's almost the nectar of the gods. Back, baby, back. I want my push. Oh my God, that's cold.
Oh, you betcha, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks again for tuning in to episode 13. We're teenagers now. Episode 13.
We did it. We're finally in the awkward stage, middle school age.
Super middle school stage.
Yep.
Guys, thanks again for watching episode 13 of the You Betcha Radio podcast, watching or listening. Remember to go follow us on social media at OUBetcha. That's at OHH You Betcha. Again, we have a lot of other cool micro pages living under the You Betcha brand. Myself, at Ryan the T-shirt guy. We have at moms.hotdish, which is the official Midwestern meme page of OU Betcha. And we also have the Ranch Wrangler. The Ranch Wrangler has been super consistent over the last couple months. We're trying to wrangle up the best viscosity, best ranch in the Midwest with the Ranch Wrangler. So go follow that page at Ranch Wrangler. And the new merch is dropped last week. We got crew necks. We got YB branded t-shirts. The crew necks, we kind of brought it to the next level with the merchandise. We still have our regular t-shirts, but the crew necks for springtime is kind of a game changer. And along with the crew necks, we brought back the Nectar of the Gods Mountains design with a slight hint of red popping off of the nectar.
Was that your audio?
That's all
visual?
I got for an audio visual.
Yeah, and the other things too are just the bar takeovers. Our first one is in the Wisconsin Dells, April 27th, at the Showboat Saloon. I believe that we have another one lined up, which we'll announce in the future. But yeah, just be looking for dates on the bar takeovers. Go check out the new merch on the website. Other than that, I think that's all for housekeeping, Ryan.
Yeah, and
you're going out of town, aren't you?
I'm going out of country.
Ooh.
So I was out of country.
Fancy Ryan.
I was in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada.
You're a world traveler.
I'm kind of a world traveler. Heading to Cologne, Germany next week to print up a lot more t-shirts. The guys are flying me out to our fabric manufacturer so we can go through some No, I'm kidding. That's not what we're going for.
Yeah, that sounds way too intense for You Betcha. Ours is like, does that look good on the website? Yeah, that shirt looks like a good color according to the website. Just order it.
Yeah, so I'll be out of town next week.
So we're doing this a little early, so no March Madness talk this week.
No March Madness talk, but
I'm sure a bunch of awesome stuff happened. I can't believe that Duke lost. That's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
But not really. But other than that, yeah, I'm just happy that Duke lost, and hopefully this ages well, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm feeling kind of naked today. I don't have my Stormy Cromer on. I haven't been home all day, so
we gotta get Stormy Cromer involved, right?
Yeah, hands down one of my favorite hats.
What are you gonna do when it's summer out? Because that's not a very summery hat.
No, I think it's a good bonfire hat though.
True.
So when it comes to
Push burp already.
evenings at the lake, putting the wood in the fire, getting the marshmallows out, the Stormy Cromer's got to come with it.
That brings up a good point, Ryan. How do you usually roast marshmallows?
I black them out.
You're one of those guys?
Yeah,
Like Dennis the Menace when he gets his lit on fire and he starts whipping it around?
So I'll black them out, or else I'll go for like a dark golden brown.
What technique do you usually use? Are you a one side flip to the other? The way I do it is I find a leverage point where I put my stick, or they have the metal rods now, and I do the rotisserie style. And you got to find the little pocket of coals to do it on, and you just rotate it until it's nice and golden brown.
So I'll usually just like set it on fire right away, and then I'll twist it. I'll take it out of the fire and I'll twist the fire around the marshmallow.
Like you got a lit match or whatever. Yeah.
Yep. That's coming soon.
So yes, but before we say that, nothing creates more panic in someone than when your marshmallow starts to sag.
Oh my gosh.
It's you can tell it at some point it's gonna fall off. And then you're like, will someone please help me? And
will someone please give me the graham crackers?
Grab the chocolate. It's like you're like in the ICU, like you got a dead body on the table and you're trying to revive it before it falls on the ground.
Yeah, it's pretty tragic. But honestly, if you
then you're trying to like hold it steady, and you're like, let's say you got one of the metal rods and you bump the person trying to do it, and they just get pissed at you because you just burnt their hand for them trying to help you. But
yeah, and the upside of going with the burnt marshmallows, if you do drop it on the ground, there's like a layer of like ash on the outside. You just peel it off. Everything is still nice and gooey in the middle.
I don't mind the black marshmallow, but I definitely prefer just the golden brown.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever gotten fancy and put anything other than Hershey chocolate on there?
I've done them on like Oreos. Like I've opened up Oreos and done it instead of graham crackers. But Reese's cups.
I was just gonna say that's what I've done is the Reese's cups.
I think that's like
is
the
it
second
Reese's
in command.
or Reese's? I think it's Reese's, Ryan.
That's a good question. What did I say?
You said Reese's.
Reese's.
I think it's just a Reese's.
Reese's cup. So Reese, if you are listening to this,
Reese's, not Reese.
Well, it's Reese's cup.
I know,
so it's
but their brand name is just Reese's. It's not Reese.
So his name would be Reese.
Okay, so you're calling out now the original Reese. Okay,
yeah.
Yo, Reese, what's going on?
That's interesting. Reese's cup. Reese's cup.
Yeah, it's just a Reese's cup, Brian.
I don't know. I think it's one of those.
It
words
is fun
that
to say
can get
though, with the
misinterpreted.
little like Reese's Pieces. It's just saying Reese's Pieces.
Reese's Pieces.
Again, this got derailed, but no, I'm excited for bonfire season. I don't do marshmallows very often.
Same.
I'm more of a drink by the fire, maybe have some sun seeds. But and then every once in a while, like if we have my niece out to the lake, always gonna have marshmallows and s'mores.
Now, is your mom like super organized with her s'mores materials? Like
she has a basket.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people can relate to that basket because we're like, oh, let's have some s'mores around the fire. Like the Meg's like, her mom has like a little tote.
Yep.
Everything is in there.
Yeah. It's literally, it's just like a basket and it has everything you need in it. Do you ever get guilty of you're like want something sweet and you just go and dabble in the s'more basket and like
I don't know.
break off some Hershey chocolate bars?
No.
I do that every once in a while. It's like the hidden
You're
stash.
ruining it for the rest of us.
It's like the little stash that you always forget about because that's like the s'more basket.
Well, and that's probably why I haven't done it because I
haven't even thought about that.
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
You're welcome, Ryan.
Yeah.
I can.
We'll see how long I can go without someone catching me doing that.
What would happen? Are you gonna get in trouble, Ryan?
Well, then your graham cracker to marshmallow to Hershey's ratio is completely thrown off.
No, this
Someone's
is to
gonna
branch
notice.
off on that. Have you ever had just graham crackers with butter on it?
Oh my gosh, no.
It's so good.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just regular butter.
Yeah, it's almost like, yeah, it's like the sweet and the butter together. It's like a, like when you do like a
salty and
cinnamon sugar toast.
Sure.
Kind of tastes a little bit like that.
I'm thinking more of like the Texas Roadhouse butter.
Ooh, that would be good too.
When you said butter, that's the first thing that came to
I'm just
mind.
talking regular butter. You slap that on a graham cracker. I bet that would be even good with a marshmallow on there too.
Ooh.
It's getting
You're living
fancy.
dangerous.
The s'mores at that point get really to an exotic level that after a few lattes you don't necessarily want to go there. But
right.
Speaking of lattes, Ryan, our next segment, which we'll take a break, but we're gonna revisit this. You're in a small town bar when, because
Part two,
because it has gotten a great response, and mostly because in the video, the comments that people left were hilarious. So
there were so many comments.
Yeah.
And like you and I probably rattled off like 15 between the two of us. And
we even
there's,
cut some out for that video just so we could make it.
There's so many more comments in there that like I think of it now.
Yeah.
Now that I read it, but
well,
so
I was
much
telling
potential.
you before, we probably could have come up with more, but that was literally a spur of the moment thing. Like we didn't plan that beforehand at all. It was all like
so off the cuff.
If you listen to the full podcast, that's why I froze up because I couldn't think of one right away. That sucked.
So the segment's
hated
cool
that.
and everything, but if you watch the whole podcast, I did get Miles to freeze on that, and it ended up being like one of our best segments.
Very rare that my mind will go blank on something like that. So that was weird.
I was pretty proud of that.
We recovered.
We did.
We recovered.
It has a part two now, so it obviously went really well. Part one.
All right, guys, we are now in. You're in a small town bar when part two. We posted the video on Facebook, Instagram, and we got a ridiculous amount of responses of people who had their own. And so Ryan and I both picked out our favorites, and I think we should just kind of go down the list and talk about them. And the number one that was done, which is kind of, we both thought was hilarious, and so did other people, was, you're in a small town bar when you're about to leave and the bartender asks you if you need one for the road.
Yeah.
And that was, I love that one because as bad as it is, you see it all the time.
You see every time.
So
that was a good one.
Yeah, that was like consensus, but by the way that people reacted to it on social media, that was their favorite.
Yeah.
Or at least the general population thought it was their favorite.
Yep.
So what do you got for me, Ryan? You go first.
So, you're in a small town bar when a local walks in and a bartender opens a beer or has a drink ready for them before they get done saying their hellos to the other locals.
That was my first one. So
that's a good one.
Yeah. I think we've all seen it. It's, you see like, oh, Ryan's pulling up. Yeah. Then it's like, oh, I got to get him a Busch Light ready before he gets here. And then he walks in and they just go slamming on the ground for him. This one's funny because my dad actually used to do this.
Okay.
You're in a small town bar when you drop off a thing of cash or a check for someone with the bartender, so then that person can come pick it up later. I know it sounds crazy, but my dad literally used to like, hey, I can't meet you right now to get this, but I'm by the bar. I'll drop it off at the bar and you just come get it at the bar.
Yeah.
So it essentially has now become a bank where you just drop off money and people come and pick up money.
The central meeting point.
And I know what you're thinking. That sounds like a drug deal. It was not a drug deal. I swear to God. But I thought that one was pretty funny.
So
you've never seen that one?
I haven't seen that one. No. You're in a small town bar when you drive by at 3 p.m. on a Friday and can identify by the vehicles out in the parking lot who's getting a head start on the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
So classic.
Well, I've even done it where you drive by and be like, oh, so-and-so's there.
Yeah.
I might wait till later, see if they head home beforehand. Yeah. Or you drive, you're going home from work and it's like, ooh, that person, I've seen them there like 4 days in a row.
Mm-hmm.
They must be going through a rough patch right now or something like that, you know, like,
Ooh, I thought of one.
him and Kathy must be fighting again. You just thought of another one right now?
Yeah. So you know you're at a small town bar when you can go in and buy off sale.
Oh yeah. But it's also, they let you kind of start drinking it as the bar's closing up in the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you'll also get those stragglers, like some of the hunters in town that weekend. They'll literally come in, buy a case of beer, and then leave right away. Like no interest in hanging out with.
Or they'll show up and they already have like a beer in their hand. They don't make them like doing it. They just, when you're done with that, I'll get you a drink.
Yep.
So I do like that. You just went, right?
I just went.
Mine is, I know you're going to like this one. You might already have it, but
Okay.
you know, you're in a small town when the high school football schedule is up on the wall.
See, that was like my favorite one on the list.
That one was so true.
So much pride in high school sports when it comes to small
towns. Yeah.
Like they get a bigger turnout for games and like state tournament appearances and stuff like
some
that.
colleges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you're in a small town bar when the bar shuts down to go watch the state tournament game.
There you go.
Boom.
Ryan, you were on fire on this segment.
I know.
All right. What else you got? Where do you want me to go again?
You go ahead.
All right. You know, you're in a small town. Okay. I like this one. You know, you're in a small town bar when there's no toilet paper left on the roll and you tell the bartender and she tells you where the toilet paper is because you have to do it yourself. Yep.
So classic.
Yeah. Hey, you're out of paper towels in the bathroom. Yeah, they're over there. Help yourself. That's not what I meant. I wanted you to do it because you work here.
Yeah. I like that one. This is also a really good one. You know you're in a small town bar when $1 shots of whatever's in the paper bag when the train goes by.
You've done that before, Ryan?
No, but I've seen the $1 mystery shots.
Yeah, I haven't seen the train thing, but I like that.
Yeah.
But I have seen the paper bag.
Yeah.
We used to just call it the bago shots.
The bago shots.
Yeah, and like we usually do it like if you're playing a game and you lose, you got to reach your hand in and take a bag of shots.
Have you taken a shot out of a paper bag at a small town bar? Have you ever like guessed correctly what's in the bag? Because you always have to ask that bartender after.
Well, you can, a lot of times I think you can kind of feel like the different shapes of the bottles.
Yeah.
Like the little like Jack Daniels one has like a specific like feel to the bottle you can like feel, but you start getting into like the like weird vodkas with flavors, they all kind of feel the same, so then you don't know what you're pulling out. Like you'll pull out an ice hole when you think it's just a whatever.
Yeah, I would choose ice hole over anything.
Yeah.
Grape ice hole.
Yeah.
Plum ice hole, sorry.
Fireball also has its own shape too. Yeah. That's usually a popular one in the bigger shots.
Yep.
All right. You're up, Ryan.
You know you're in a small town bar when you walk with a beer from across the street and they don't care.
That's kind of awesome. Like what I said earlier when you walk in with another beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
It's like going from house party to house party, essentially in college.
With a backpack on?
With a backpack.
That's still one of my favorite tweets of all time. Well, that's maybe a little exaggerated, but a great tweet was, it was like in September in a school year or whatever. It was like, I see a bunch of college students out and about with their backpacks. It's really good to see everyone studying late on a Saturday. It's like, oh yeah, I'm sure that's full of
studying
books.
So hard.
Yep. You know, you're in a small town bar when the bar is named something like the library or the office
or the corner bar.
Well, what I'm saying is like, then it's like, so then you go, where are you going? Oh, I'm going to the library or I'm going to the office. And it's like named after stupid stuff like that.
So there was a bar where I went to college called the Wonder Bar. And it was called the Wonder Bar because you always wondered why you were there.
It's a great name. They always have play on names. It's never like, it's never like Bar 42. It's like got some sort of meaning behind it.
And if it's called Bar 42, then it's not a small town bar.
There you go, Ryan. So I have two that kind of go hand in hand. They both deal with a small town guy's wife.
Okay. Jesus.
You know, it's a small town bar when one of the regulars doesn't show up at his usual 1 p.m. So the bartender calls his house and asks his wife if he's still alive.
Just checking up on you, buddy.
Another one, it's just like right next to each other. This one's great. If I had a bartender like this, man, that sounds like the best.
Dangerous.
You know you're in a small town bar when your wife calls and the bartender answers with an immediate, no, I haven't seen him all day. That is a great bartender right there.
Yes.
Oh,
Taking one for the team.
well, it's just common sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Because they're going to lose out on business if that guy's got to leave. Right. So,
Yeah.
all right. You know you're in a small town bar when you have a couple options of different things pickled in gallon jars.
Oh, I actually might have
That
had
was
that
such
one.
a good one, man.
I might have had that one. I agree.
Pickled eggs, pickled asparagus, pickled whatever.
There's so
Like,
many.
You name it.
Yeah.
Pickled carrots.
They also I know that like pickles are pickled, but like flavored pickles as well, like the sweet and
Yeah.
spicy or all those type of things, all
Yep.
the homemade stuff. For sure. I wonder if I had that on here. But
We're doing pretty good. We haven't overlapped at all yet.
yeah, the first one,
But that was the best one.
right.
Oh my gosh, my next one is good.
Go.
You know, you're in a small town bar when one of the bartenders, I shouldn't even say it doesn't say one of the bartenders because there's only one.
There's only one
You
bartender.
know, you're in a small town bar.
And then there's one person who's doesn't work there, but they always help out the bartender. That's how you know you're in a small town bar too. When it's like, hey, Kathy, I keep using Kathy. Hey, Kathy, could you help me with this round of shots quick?
That is kind of relatable to this one. Okay. You know, you're in a small. Whoa. I'll wait.
Oh my God, that's cold. I was hoping you were going to keep talking and I'd interrupt you again.
You know, you're in a small town bar when that one bartender always has the crazy boyfriend that sits in the corner and tries to stare everyone down while she's on shift.
Yeah, because you know,
I love that one.
Because you know, no matter if you're a married man or if you got a girlfriend or whatever, you're not gonna not be a little bit flirty to the small town bartender.
Right. Well, and there's not a lot to choose from in a small town bar. So you get a girl, you gotta keep her.
Well, I understand the guy at the end of the bar a little bit, but I also understand why, there's a little flirtation going down.
Oh yeah.
But I know exactly what you're talking about. Because it happens all the time. All right, my next one is, you're in a small town bar when you buy a round for the whole bar and it doesn't cost you more than $20. Because I don't get it.
Because there's not more than 15 people in there.
But also like everything's so cheap in small town bars.
Right.
Which is wild as a business and how you can charge so cheap. But
right.
I guess there's only one person working there, so you're not like you have a bunch of people to pay. And everyone's bringing their frozen pizzas in anyways.
Yeah,
so.
they don't need to restock the pizzas.
Are you out of them, Ryan?
Yeah, but I think I heard you say one earlier that I'm just going to rattle off. You're in a small town bar when there's a faded Schmitz sign.
Oh yeah, that was one of them that's on there. I couldn't find it to screenshot it, but
the faded Schmitz.
I can literally see it. I can see that Schmitz sign.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Now this one, I don't know if it's as common, but I thought it was a very clever idea and I could see people doing this.
Yep.
You're in a small town bar when the locals play their walkout songs on the touch tunes 30 seconds before they arrive. And as they walk in, it's playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you're walk up on a baseball, like a baseball player. I honestly might try that now.
That's awesome. What would your walkout song be?
Oh, I have no idea right now. But what would yours be?
I have no idea.
It would be tough. I'd have to sit down and think about it.
That's a big moment, man, because that kind of determines your spot in the bar.
There's always songs that you'll play on the jukebox or touch tunes, but you don't necessarily want them to be your walkout song, walk-in song, I should say.
It's kind of just rally the troops song, something that everyone's interested in.
You also want it to be it's not going to get played a lot because if it gets played a lot, then it's not really your walk-in song. You really need it to be specific to you. Exclusive to you. I got another one for you. This one's on my computer here. You know you're in a small town bar when there's more dogs in the bar than there are people.
Like that.
I like that. You know you're in a small town bar when you see camo and orange. That's all people are wearing in the fall. You know you're in a small town bar when your mailman is also your bartender. I like that one.
That's good. Back to
those were all one persons too.
Yeah,
by the
that
way,
was really good.
They nailed it.
So back to the dog in the bar. You know you're in a small town bar when the bartender's dog is laying on its dog bed on the side of the bar.
And the locals try to feed him beer every single time. And the bartender lets it fly once in a while, but then they're like, okay, I can't have a drunk dog all the time. So knock it off.
And honestly, like they're like the best mannered dogs you will come across. People all over the place, getting rowdy, music going, food falling on the floor, and it's just laying there. Like I just want to sleep.
It's probably drunk. That's probably why, Ryan.
There's one drunk person in this bar. It's my dog.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was the pickled jars one. Oh, this is the last one that I have, I think. Yes. The last one I have is, you know, it's a small town bar when someone brings in their homemade beef jerky and they just pass it around along the bar rail. That one was money.
That's great.
Because like that's just so true. And like the bartenders don't even care. They're trying it. They're weighing in on whether it's good or not, all that kind of stuff.
I like that one.
It's always good, so that's not an issue. But
you know, you're in a small town bar when you can buy small bags of chips for snacks.
Yeah, they're like 50 cents.
50 cents. There's two kinds. There's Doritos and Lay's potato chips.
I was literally gonna say Lay's potato chips.
Yep.
And they're usually on like the thing on the wall that has the little clips.
Yep.
Oh
yep.
yeah.
They're hanging.
You know you're in a small town bar when there's chips hanging on the wall from the little clips thing.
Yes. And it's kind of funny because we discussed this earlier. We're getting these ideas from like one or two specific bars that pop in our mind.
Oh yeah.
But it emulates every other small town bar as well. So it's cool because you go in a small town bar, you get the vibe. You go to another one, it's like just another small town bar. What percentage of small town bars that you've been to have like pool tables, or a lot of them have dartboards? The dartboard's probably always there, but like pool tables.
I'd say it's pretty high.
You know you're in a small town bar when you don't recognize people in a small town bar because they're at the pool table.
That's true.
I feel like the only people who play pool are the people that are not from that small town.
Right, because they can't sit at the rail and chit chat about all the local news. It's all they go and play pool because they don't know anyone there. I suppose.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I've definitely been guilty of the person having to go and play pool because I don't know any of the locals.
You have to. And like if your dad's up talking to someone and you don't want to stand there, like you're going to go play pool.
You know you're from a small town bar when every single person sitting at the bar rail has a nickname. That is very true. Everyone has a nickname.
Yep. I'm trying to just think of nicknames off the top of my head, but
it's usually like shortening up last names, or adding like an E at the end. So it'd be like your last name's already has an E at the end. Sheely, you'd be Shields. You wouldn't be Sheely. You'd be Shields. What's going on, man?
Yep.
But
God, I just had another one. I'm out. What else we got in the comments?
This is live now. A lot of them. Oh, there was another one. Is you're from a small town. You're in a small town bar when the bar closes and then everyone just goes out to the parking lot and drinks with the bartender. So you literally do the same thing you did inside of the bar, but instead they have to close. So you just go do it in the parking lot.
Do you have any crazy small town bar stories? Like any fights that break out or?
In the small town bar that I talked about in the last podcast in South Dakota, we would Indian leg wrestle on the ground in the bar.
No shit.
Indian leg, you lay on your back and then you try to flip each other over. And it stems because there's always like that one guy who's like undefeated, right?
Yeah.
And every person thinks that they can take the undefeated Indian leg wrestler down.
Yep.
And then no one does. And so
Kind of like Letterkenny. He's the toughest guy in the town.
oh yeah.
Yeah, he's the toughest Indian leg wrestler in the town.
He's got such huge thighs.
Yeah.
God, he's just built like a brick shithouse.
Just that farm boy strength.
Yeah. There is something to Indian leg wrestling. It's hard. But once I feel it's a little bit like arm wrestling. You got to like crank the wrists in order to get them to go down. And
Yeah.
there's a technique, I think, but
It's a good small town bar activity.
well, yeah, I mean, it's gross to lay on the floor, but
Of a small town
that
bar.
was all town
Yeah.
bar. But if it's dark enough in there, I saw that coming. Ryan just opened up his bush backwards. So he pointed the mouth away from him and he pushed the
Wow.
he pushed the tab
Yeah.
forward. I've never seen
I
that
do that
before.
Yeah, it's easier to get under it with your thumb than it is your.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But so that was our you're in a small town bar when part 2. Most of them are people who submitted bush burp on the comments on Facebook. We've been like reading them through. It's like hard not to just keep reading them.
I feel like after we did the original segment, we're like, okay, we got all these covered. We got all of our bases covered. How can there be any more?
That was a solid amount.
And then
I didn't really think that. I just couldn't think of any more.
Right. But then we get like 500 plus comments. Now,
Yeah.
obviously not all of them are like, you're in a small town bar when, but a good majority of them are different examples of small town bars.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are better than part 1.
100%. I still love like even just like the pickled ones.
Yeah.
Like every bar
How
has
do we
a
not think of that?
random jar of pickled
Yeah.
something.
Part 1, we talked about the wood chips of.
Oh, that was another thing I was talking about. If you have a wood chip from your bar, like the one that you get the free drink, throw it in the comments.
Like the wood coins.
Yeah, send them to us because it's interesting to see them all. Literally,
What
like
was
one of the first comments is like the guy posted it and it says the Legion on it, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
And then on the other side, it just says good for one drink. He nailed it right on the head.
There you go. Why go into depth with it?
Yeah.
It's good for one drink.
But it's just funny because no matter where you are in the Midwest, it's just a part of Midwest culture,
What if you went up to the bar with a free drink chip and you're like, can I get like a dirty martini? Get the fuck out of here. You're at a small town bar when that person gets kicked out.
Sir, you know that like that's not what that chip is for, right? then that one bar is gonna have to start putting asterisks on their good for one drink.
Dirty martinis excluded.
You're not from a small town. You're not in a small town bar if you order a dirty martini. Part 3. We should do a part 3 with you're not in a small town bar
Yes.
when
Oh my, that'd be great.
we might have
Again, I would
another
think of probably
segment for
one or
next
2
week.
bars.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what it would be.
I think I know what you're thinking.
Yeah. So that was fun. All right, Ryan. So it is springtime. I think we can officially say that it's springtime. It's been above freezing now for many days in a row.
It's hit 40 degrees.
Yep. And so we put out a video about different springtime activities. Driving with the windows open, wearing shorts, going to the car wash, all those types of activities. There was some stuff that I thought I left out, mostly because I wanted it to apply to most people.
Yep.
What are some springtime stuff that you really only kind of do in the spring, that you don't do the rest of the year?
I think there's one thing that I do about twice a year. I would say from winter to spring, one of the best feelings is moving all of my winter stuff, the snowblower, the shovels,
Yep.
all the outside like Christmassy winter type decorations to the shed
There you go.
and bring in the golf clubs and the rakes and the lawnmower into the garage.
Yeah, basically de-winterizing your garage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling, man.
And it's funny that you say the golf clubs, because that was what I was going to say is, for whatever reason, every single spring I go, you know what? This is the year that I'm going to play a lot more golf. I grew up with my dad was a golfer. My grandpa was a golfer. I just never really got into it because I was doing other stuff, other sports. But I'm like, you know what? I got golf in my veins. I got golf in my blood. This is the year that I take it up. And I start out strong because the courses aren't necessarily open. So I start out, my spring activity is going to the range.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now,
does the range open before the course usually?
Some places.
Okay.
I know that like when stuff floods, a lot of times the range is open before the holes because the holes are underwater or they were underwater or not ready yet. So it seems that I always hit up the range multiple times in spring, but then summer rolls around, I get busy and I don't actually ever end up going golfing that much. So that's kind of my spring activity.
You're a good golfer.
Oh, well, thanks, Ryan. That's now on the record, by the way.
No, we hit the range a couple times last summer, and yeah, I was pretty impressed. I think you should start playing more golf.
I think we should too.
Because now, like, if you want to get good at a sport at our age,
it's golf.
What better to get better? What sport to get better at than golf?
Well, that and we need to get good at cornhole.
Yes,
so we got a perfect spot in the bunker where we don't need to park inside anymore. And we need to start throwing bags for sure.
Yeah, we have like some professional looking bags.
Yeah, look at these babies.
So
if you're listening, they're one of the sides has like a smooth, slippery side. And the other side has like a more of like a what kind of material is this, Ryan?
It's like a felt. Kind of like
it almost feels like it's like
a fleece kind of.
Like a fake deer skin, you know what I mean? Like like it's not real deer skin, obviously, but it's like the fake kind of type of material.
So if you're a lobber, if you like to get some height, you want the sticky side. Yeah. And if you're more of a line drive thrower, like a spinner, you're gonna go with the felt looking side.
Right. Or if like
they nailed that.
Or if like you need to hit 21 on the dot, and you only need one. You don't want it to spin in the hole.
Right.
You just hit the sticky side. I think that's something that people like to do in the summer and the spring.
Now, one thing that
barbecuing or whatever. But I will have to say that beer darts, I think, it's probably more of a young person's game, more college age or right out of college. There's probably be people coming like, I'm 45 years old and I still play beer darts. Like it's not a young person's game, but I would say generally is more college age,
right? Because
their only goal is to just get absolutely hammered.
Yep.
But yeah, what were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say, you enjoy getting the golf clubs out and use them for the first month or two.
Then they start collecting a little dust.
Yeah. So a couple years ago, I got a nice like road bike for my birthday. And every single year, I'm like, all right, I'm getting the bike out. This is the year.
You're such a fitness guy, Ryan.
I'm gonna get home from work at sun's gonna be almost going down. I'm just gonna go for a nice bike ride. And that happens for like 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then it's gone. The bike sits there and it gets dusty, and I don't want to be riding a dusty bike around.
Yeah, that's why you can't ride it. It's because it's got dust on it.
That's my excuse.
Yeah, that's absolutely why. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. That was part of the reason why I wanted to do that video. And one of them was like going for a run or something. Because you always like come out blazing hot in spring of like, I'm going to do activities, I'm going to get in some shape. I'm going to do this and that. And then after a few weeks, everything just goes back to normal and you're just doing the same old thing you always do.
Well, it's like the New Year's resolution.
It's like the spring resolution is basically what this comes down to.
So
everyone has a spring resolution.
What is your spring resolution? Well, it's to golf more, but you might have something different off the top of your head.
Yeah, I think for me, the spring resolution is just like, so I do a lot of, if I'm not shooting a video, I'm sitting editing a video or spending time on the internet. And you just get up and move more. Whether that is riding a bike.
Get some steps in.
Get some movement in.
Yeah.
Just because I'll go a whole day sitting in front of a computer doing stuff and I won't move that much, which sucks because I grew up moving all the time, worked concrete, played college football, like constantly active. And now I'm just like sitting in front of a computer. So I got to get out and do something a little more.
So your spring resolution is...
But I think we're going to build the bar for the bunker. And so I think that should help get some activity going on throughout the day. But
yeah.
Maybe I need to start doing that. Just start building stuff so I just get some movement going.
Right.
What about you? What's your spring resolution, Ryan?
My spring resolution is to get more. Wow, this is kind of a spring summer resolution, but I want to get out fishing more.
There you go. Classic. When's the ice come off?
Ice will be off in probably late April.
There you go.
Walleye opener is usually like middle of May. So we'll be chasing some greenbacks. But no, I want to get out fishing more this spring/summer.
You did quite a bit of ice fishing this winter.
I did a lot of ice fishing.
Yeah,
probably like twice a month. Which for me, like,
is that more than you've ever done?
Oh yeah, I mean that's every other weekend.
Is it because you had a buddy to go with more now, or is it just like you had somewhere to go, or?
No, I mean there's always different spots to go to, but we kind of have like a fishing crew now, and
squad. Yeah,
so. There's technically three other guys in the fishing crew, and one of them's married. Us other three are not. So my married buddy, he's got anniversaries and he's got house chores and stuff like that. So
honey-do list. As probably many of our listeners do as well.
Right. So the honey-do list gets in the way, and majority of the winter it was just me and my other two buddies, and none of us are married. Two of us are.
Why don't you go help out the buddy with his honey-do list so he can come with too, Ryan?
That would be what a good friend does. And I feel like I'm being a good friend by being like morally supportive of, man, that's totally fine. Like we'll have you come with next time.
Yeah.
Kind of just like not kicking him out of the group, but yeah, it's kind of the perfect scenario because...
Yeah, but you're going to be married here soon, Ryan.
That's why I got a lot of ice fishing in this winter, man.
Ryan's going to be married, and then he's going to be kicked out of the group.
Then I'm going to be out of the group. So then I'm just going to have to find a new hobby.
It's just going to become you get 1 weekend a year. Your wife lets you get... Your wife lets you get 1 weekend a year to go ice fishing with the boys.
Yeah. I don't know, man. We're going to have to lay some ground rules down. Before this wedding happens.
Your form of a prenup is an agreement on how much fishing and hunting you get to do?
I think it should consist of that, yes.
Does your fiance like to go fishing, hunting?
Yes, she likes when I bring her fishing and hunting. She actually shot her first deer this last year, which I was pretty pumped about. Yeah, 1 bullet, 1 shot, one down deer.
Did she have to gut it or did you gut it?
Oh no, I was so pumped up. I literally all she had to do was pull the trigger and I did everything else. I dressed her. I got her to where we needed to go. I got her up in the stand. Kid, yeah. Pretty much. And then, we lifted up the window of the blind and we had a down deer. It was about 7 minutes into the sit.
So you gutted it though?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
tell her next time she comes, she's got to gut it and she won't come ever again.
She's got to take a bite of the heart. You always have those guys, like if you're a young kid out deer hunting. And
your first time, yeah.
First deer. And there's the, like the older uncle or like one of your dad's buddies or something that's with like, all right, now that you shot your first deer, you got to drink the blood out of the heart or you got to take a bite of the heart. Like
you got to grab his eyeball and save it for later.
Yeah. Like we all did it when we were young. No, you didn't. You did not drink his blood when you were young. Or
if you did, whoever made you do that's a nut job.
Yeah. Like who are you hunting with?
No. I've heard of that. Yeah, that's wild. I'm glad you didn't make her eat the heart, Ryan.
No, I wouldn't do that.
That might have scarred her from hunting from there on out.
Yeah. Just made her eat the back straps.
There you go.
If you're going to shoot it, you got to eat it.
Yeah. Yeah, hunting isn't really spring activity, but he piggybacked off of the fishing for sure.
Snow geese hunting. Snow geese hunting in the spring is huge because the snow geese are now coming into migration through the Midwest. Now
You're
it's warming up
basically
a
a
little
scientist, Ryan.
bit. Kind of, unofficially.
I mean, I am, but you're also like one different scientist.
Different kind of scientist. So there'll be a lot of snow geese hunting. Another thing people like to do in the spring is to hunt muskrats. So
Never been.
I haven't either, but you go out to a slough, you find the muskrat dens. It's basically just a big like lump of cattails within a slough.
Yep.
That's where the muskrat den's going to be. You can get like $5 to $6 if you skin them out, dry the hide, and go sell it to a fur trader. It's a lot of work for $5 to $6.
I was just gonna say that sounds miserable.
But at times people will shoot 20 to 30 of them in one sit.
Plus, it's also people don't take into account the camaraderie.
It's fun.
The fun, the drinking.
Well, I mean, you spent all that gas money and all the shells, and like, why is it even worth it? It's like, it's just a bonus that I can like get paid to like hunt coyotes or hunt muskrats or hunt raccoons or do any of that.
It's just something extra for guys being dudes. That's what it really comes down to.
Yeah, so that's another big activity in the spring. It'll probably be pretty big this spring because of all the flooding going on.
Right. One thing I'm excited for is I don't do much hunting other than in like the fall.
Yeah.
And so what I'm excited for is just more of the traditional lake season.
Yep.
And every once in a while, like we sometimes just like take a drive out to the lake before we can even like put our stuff in the water, and like just seeing the like lake with like all the leaves on it, or like the leaves starting to bud and do all of that kind of stuff. And like just that time just gets you so excited to throw everything in the water.
Yep.
That's the best.
Do you put your dock and all your lifts in by yourself, or do you hire someone in to do that?
If you've ever met my father, whose lake cabin we go to traditionally.
Yeah, just call Mike.
Call Mike. M&H Construction, call Mike. If you've ever met my father, you know that we do that all ourselves.
Yeah.
But now we got a system. We got a system down to where it's a lot easier. But the first couple of years that we did it, it was kind of a nightmare.
Yeah.
Putting stuff in is always obviously way easier than taking it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so I kind of want to save this for when we get closer to the lake season. But one thing that everyone argues about when, and at least in our family, when we put our stuff in is the dock straight or parallel to the shore?
Is the dock level?
That and like people are, the dock level. Well, we're supposed to get quite a bit of rain, so the water level is going to be a lot higher. So just put it up a little. Mm-hmm. But everyone's always standing down the line with one eye closed. Like, is that straight? I think that's straight. And someone goes, they're like, how much have you been drinking? That's so crooked. And then like,
because one person's basing off of like one rock that is like off.
Yep. And then mom gets the last say, and it doesn't matter what anyone else says anyways. So,
well, because she wants her cabin to look nice from the water.
Well, she's the boss.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's how it goes.
I'm excited to talk about lake content, summer content when it comes around.
Can you just give us an audio visual of driving up to the lake before everything spruces up and the water is just...
So basically...
Give us that audio visual.
So where I'm at, it's a lot more hilly than where I live. And so you start hitting those majestic hills and things are still a little brown, but you see some green start to sprout through. And then as you get closer to the cabin, you start to notice neighbors are also out and about, either putting stuff out in the yard or moving stuff around in the garage. And obviously you have your arm out the window because it's finally hit that 65-degree weather. You throw a wave to neighbor Joe. Hey, Joe, how's it going? Great to be back. You hit to that lake, and what you do every single time is you stand out by the shore, and everyone still has all their stuff out of the water, and you just think to yourself, man, the shoreline looks weird without all the docks in. So that's the that was good audio visual. Yeah. But you know what I mean? Everyone always like, either you pull it all out or you right before you put it in, you look down the shoreline and you're like, put it all in. And you and someone makes a comment like, "Oh, that looks so weird."
Yeah.
Or in the fall, it's like, "Oh, this is the worst. Everyone's got their stuff. It looks so weird." Oh my gosh, the shoreline looks so weird with everything out of the water. And it's true, but it's also like just kind of a funny thing that I think a lot of people say. But
yeah, I think this is a time that we all really need to cherish because it's just like going on a vacation or like a bachelor party or anything. The drive out is always 100 times better than the drive back.
correct.
Because the anticipation of you with all your friends in a super sweet environment is great, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's lake season. It hasn't hit us yet. We're not to our destination. So we need to cherish this moment because we're on the drive out.
Yeah.
And sooner than we think, we'll be on the drive back.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be fall time. Labor Day will hit and everyone's going to be pulling their stuff out.
And that was a moment of perspective with Ryan, the t-shirt guy. That was a really soft part of the podcast, Ryan. I'm really glad that you pointed that out to our listeners.
Yeah, I think it's important.
It's important to step back and just gain that perspective that you just dropped on us.
Man, summertime's great, but I think this is the best time
It's
right
like
now.
Andy Bernard says, I wish you knew you were in the good old days before you were out of them.
Yes.
And I think
that's so accurate.
And I think that's the way we should end the podcast.
Guys, thanks again for tuning into episode 13, the Teenager Podcast. We didn't talk about teenagers, but we are now a teenage podcast.
Yeah, we are no longer preteens.
Episode 13 is in the books. Guys, again, go follow us on social media. We just put out part 1 of the You're in a Small Town Bar When, and the comments are going crazy. So go check it out. See if you can relate to any of that. That's at OUBetcha, at OHH, you betcha. Again, at Ryan the T-shirt guy, myself. I got some pretty good content coming up if Miles ever gets to editing the video.
So you'll notice that Ryan's stuff always gets edited last.
Yeah, I'm kind of just the bottom of the barrel.
Well, maybe you should learn to edit for yourself, Ryan.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to take. What if I took over the Midwest? I'm taking over the Midwest.
I will let you try, man. I will let you try.
No, I'm having fun where I'm at, man.
Big ambitions, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. At Ryan the T-shirt guy. We also have at moms.hotdish, the official Midwestern meme page of the Midwest.
In the Midwest.
In the Midwest. And lastly, at Ranch Wrangler. We're putting out Ranch Wranglers weekly, trying to wrangle up the best viscosity, the best ranch in the Midwest. We got a lot of stuff going on. Go check it out.
Is that it, Ryan?
That's it.
Be looking for bar takeovers. Go get yourself a shirt on the website. We got Ryan, the t-shirt guy here. I'm Miles, the You Betcha guy. May your ranch always be runny. May your bush lattes forever be cold. Cheers. I just ran out, that's why. Oh my God, that air is cold.
Oh, you betcha, yeah.
Yeah.